AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Soup. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day. Yeah.
It's hump day.
Let's hump, everybody.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Cat Terrell in 15 minutes.
Hump day.
Saints had OTAs.
It's hump day.
She was there.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
She'll tell us what she saw.
Hump day.
LSU baseball landed Bino Waters.
It's hump day.
Number 1 player in the portal.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Big ol' left-handed hitting outfielder.
Hump day.
Jay Johnson got him big one.
It's hump day.
We reacted to that to open the show.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Catch that on demand if you missed it.
Hump day.
Noah Fleshman was here.
It's hump day.
He covers NC State.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He tried to make sense of what NC State's doing now with Will Wade.
Hump day.
It's actually kind of sad.
It's hump day.
It's really sad.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Sad and pathetic.
Hump day.
Sad, pathetic, and stupid.
It's hump day.
Sad, pathetic, stupid, and a waste of time.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Sad, pathetic, stupid, waste of time, money, and other resources.
Hump day.
Yeah.
It's hump day.
Mike Girolando is here.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
That is going to be wild when LSU plays LSUNO.
Hump day.
No, LSU New Orleans. Got to get that right.
It's hump day.
To open the basketball season.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
They're basically going to be wearing the same uniform.
Hump day.
Huh.
It's hump day.
I was thinking about making an international player joke there.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Decided against it.
Hump day.
All right, let's get rolling here. We're glad you're hanging out here. It's 5 o'clock. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks coming up in a bit. Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Hopefully Mike Brown doesn't see a ghost during the game today.
They got an iconic player, you know.
Oh, no, there's Wemby. Y'all, De'Aaron Fox, run! What happened? I want somebody in the press corps in the post game to ask him what happened. Clip that, play it for him. Mike, what happened to you there?
He was doing so well. Like,
My
I mean,
side hurts.
like clear, articulate thought, talking about Wemby. He's generational, and all of a sudden,
Oh, wow. How does NC State feel every time Will Wade shows up?
It's Boo Corrigan every time, man.
Oh, man. So Tuesday night, the show ends. Drove over to Mockler. Went to go see my buddy Chris Davis and Mary Lewis, the great people over at Mockler. And pull up, and as I'm walking in, I grab my phone, and I see this NC State story that they've opened an investigation into whether LSU violated North Carolina state law by improperly inducing Will Wade to return to Baton Rouge. So WRAL News was the first to have it. And so they have email correspondence between the attorneys. NC State General Counsel Allison Newhart writing to LSU General Counsel Carlton Jones. And effectively what they're saying is LSU was courting Will Wade before Will Wade made NC State brass aware that LSU was courting him. And we know what happened with the buyout, right? So it was going to be $5 million. It dropped to $3 million after April 1st. They settle on a $4 million buyout, so it's not just to wait 2 weeks and leave everything hanging there. So LSU paid NC State a $4 million buyout, or agreed to pay a $4 million buyout, and everybody went on their separate ways. Well, NC State is investigating the North Carolina's Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices Act, which allowed the aggrieved party to recover damages, including attorney's fees. Okay, so there's two things primarily that come to mind here. Number one is, how did WRAL get these court documents? Like, I'm going to go ahead and guess that whatever crack reporters over at WRAL are there are probably not just combing through court documents every single day looking for Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices Act violations. This is a pretty obscure thing. So WRAL News obtained the letters between the attorneys, which means somebody gave them these letters. There's really two ways that happens. Either someone gives you the letters anonymously, right? Like, hey, you may want to take a look at this, because they want the story out there. They want it leaked. Or you FOIA them, which is the Freedom of Information Act, records request. So, and typically, you have to know something is percolating to submit a FOIA request. Either way, somebody at NC State made WRAL News aware that this was happening. So they either gave them the documents or said, hey, you should probably go look for these documents. So you ask yourself the question, why would NC State want that out there? Because they're trying to embarrass LSU and Will Wade. Period. Now, the reason they're filing this or conducting this investigation, which may lead to legal action, we'll see whatever happens, but they want damages. They're going to want more money from the buyout, maybe damages beyond that, see what they can recoup. But the reason this is out there right now is because they want it out there to be able to embarrass LSU and Will Wade, which is very small and petty. Every single coach that has ever left a school in any sport, and it happens everywhere. Coaches have left LSU for other jobs, and LSU has hired coaches away for jobs. Just did to Lane Kiffin, just hired Will Wade. I remember when Trent Johnson left LSU for TCU, we were devastated. All right, sorry, I couldn't do that with a straight face. But you never hear of stories like this. Man, it's part of the business. I mean, do I need to go look at a long roster of all the coaches that NC State has hired throughout the years? My guess is they probably hired sitting head coaches from other places somewhere along the way. Are we all naive enough to think that all of that was done above board according to the Unfair and Deceptive Trade Practices Act in the state of North Carolina? I mean, come on. We know how this works. You have back channel conversations. Your representatives talk to, your agent talks to people affiliated with the school, or you're talking to someone affiliated, maybe not directly with, a booster, someone who's trying to, start those conversations that are had. It's just the way that business is done. You don't have to like it, but it's the reality of it. So there's a real easy solution here. Like, LSU would have paid the full $5 million buyout either way. Like, I know that for a fact. They were not going to wait 2 weeks to get Will Wade out of NC State. They were not going to let this drag out. If NC State had just said, no, pay us the full $5, LSU would have paid the full $5, period. Like, I'm telling you, LSU was willing to pay the full $5 million buyout, if that's what it came to get Will Wade out and not have him wait 2 weeks for the buyout to drop. So you paid $4, or you agreed to pay $4, pay the extra $1 million, pay the attorney's fees, whatever, and let everybody go on living their life. If LSU offers to do that and NC State says no, then you know what this is rooted in. It's nothing but pettiness and hurt feelings from a school that was clearly blinded when everybody else in the world saw clearly what was happening, that Will Wade was leaving NC State for LSU. They just didn't want to believe that their coach would leave after a year. And so now they're lashing out and trying to get back however they can. And it's small and petty and stupid and whatever. So you have a coach. Everyone's moved on. Go on with your life and live your life and have your program and all. And if you need another $1 million, pay them the extra $1 million and have them shut up. And then go win, because that'll be the best payback ever. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. You know where to find them at ShawBillsTire.com. Remember, they will sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they'll keep you coming back year after year because they treat you like family. So remember, if you need your oil change, Shaw Bills. Tires rotated, alignment, brake check engine light on, tires are shaking, whatever the case may be. You need new wiper blades, they can do all of it at Shaw Bills. And the great thing is they're going to get you in, get you out, treat you like family. It's part of the Shaw Bills customer bill of rights that they offer everyone who walks through the door. ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they keep you coming back because they treat you like family. It's Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, we keep you rolling. All right, y'all, it's After Further Review. We're rolling along here in the 5 o'clock hour. We will knock out a break. Cat Terrell will be here. Tell us, recap a little bit of Saints OTAs from earlier today. And, one of the things I love doing every year is that anonymous coaches piece from Athlon. Well, not only did Athlon give head coaches anonymity to talk about other teams in the conference head coaches, they've recently done that with assistant coaches as well to talk about their conference. So we'll get to that here in about 15 minutes as well. Stay here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Summer's here. We are all spending more time outdoors. If you're looking to get in that garden, make sure you stop by Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. And I always encourage you to bypass the big box stores. Look, I get it. Sometimes you think it's easier just to pull into the big orange or blue box store. Go support a great local business that's been in our community for 60 years. They've got amazing selection, knowledgeable local staff, these awesome horticulturists there at Clegg's. Just find someone in one of those blue Clegg shirts, ask them your question. They're going to they'll be super, super helpful with whatever question you may have. What to plant, where to plant, how much care does it need? Do you need any type of supplies? They got you covered. And, of course, partner with True Value Hardware Store as well. So get on by today or any day and go see our friends at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Yeah, I love his work ethic. Love what he's put into this entire offseason. I mean, he's here every day just training, doing everything he can. I think the cool thing is He's a really smart player. We've seen the explosiveness, but because of his smarts and his football IQ, I think he's, truly any down, every down, he can play a really valuable role in that situation where you're not rotating as much. And so, I'm excited. Obviously, running backs are a little bit of a challenge assessment right now just because the run game is fairly limited to walk through and, a couple team things here and there. So I'm excited for him, though, but he's done an awesome job.
Kellen Moore talking about Travis Etienne. Cat Terrell out at Saints OTAs, listening to Kellen Moore, now joining us here. How are you?
I'm doing great, Matt. It's just at that point where it's getting really hot, but it's not unbearably hot yet.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited about August.
Have you figured out how to say?
Great.
Have you figured out how to say Etienne without any hesitation?
Yes, but I noticed Olave and an interview from 2 weeks ago said ETN.
Ooh.
So they're going to have to work on that with him.
Is that going to be a problem in the locker room?
He's a nice enough guy. I truly don't think he cares.
Well, then I'm calling him Etienne.
I think that's why this has gone on for so long, because he said in an interview, I've told you this, I think, he said in an interview at Clemson that it was actually Etienne, and then everyone called him Etienne for the next few years. And I think he was just like, it's fine.
Good.
So I think things just roll off his back.
Yeah, it's like Moscona, Mosconi. I'm like,
Terrell.
Yeah. You get it too, huh? But you only have 2 iterations, Terrell or Terrell. What do you?
That's true. I don't think there's been a third one.
Yeah, I got so many vowels. People mess up the vowels, and the spellings are insane too on my name. Like how? What the crazy thing is, Kat, is when I do an interview like on someone else's show, and they're like, great sports talker, love his show, listen all the time, Matt Moscona. I'm like, nope, you've never listened to my show ever. Like literally, that is not my name.
Or when someone asks you to come on your show, and then they ask you how to pronounce your name, and then 5 seconds later they mispronounce it. That always cracks me up. I'm like, well, at least y'all tried. Not you guys, but that does happen, and it makes me laugh.
Cat Terrell is our guest here on on AFR. I jest, obviously. Okay, so you have any observations of watching Etienne so far?
I mean, not really specifically about him yet. I feel like, at least for me, the focus, obviously not a practice, but the focus in general is so much on what's Kamara going to do and how is this going to work with Kamara. So it's hard for me to get a picture of how the running backs are going to look or how they're going to utilize them or how Etienne looks until we figure out if Kamara is on the team in 2026. And Kellen was asked a lot of questions about that today, and I bet he'll be asked a lot of questions about that next week until they figure this out. So it almost, to me, it feels like a holding pattern until this thing is settled. But I think regardless, he's running back 1 going into the season, Kamara or not.
You covered this team a long time. What do you think happens with Kamara? Or has your opinion changed at all?
No, I think so. I mean, you know this. When it comes to the NFL in the off season, I'm very much a numbers person in terms of looking at the numbers and kind of determining, for the most part, what they'll do with any given player, based on their salary and production. I mean, sometimes it's just all, kind of laid out there for you. And with Kamara, when you look at his salary, it didn't match his production last year and really not the year before, and his age. So, you're looking at that back in January, and I said he will probably be asked to take a pay cut or a potential candidate for release because he's making $12 million. And that didn't change when they signed Etienne, and that is another $12 million running back. You don't pay 2 running backs $12 million each unless they're just the greatest running backs in the NFL and you have this amazing duo. And so the only thing that has surprised me is that it is June, and it's almost like it's still being tiptoed around this whole situation. It's almost like they're tiptoeing around it. Whereas, when you saw Cam Jordan take a pay cut and Tyrann Mathieu take a pay cut and players before them, that had occurred in, February or March. But the cap situation is better this year, so that kind of could possibly play into why they were able to wait until June or July or whenever this gets figured out.
Are you I know that they're limited in what they do on the field in OTAs, but has anyone or anything caught your eye?
Isaiah Stallbird had an interception today, so he was the guy that caught my eye. I didn't go to the first open practice because I was on vacation for a wedding in Rome. Hard life, you know?
Way better decision.
Yes, I was really missing OTAs when I was in Rome at my friend's wedding. But it was weird to come back and have not gone to that open practice because I never miss OTAs. So even in the one practice, it's jolting to come back and you're trying to play catch up. So to me, I think Thanker has been a guy I've been watching a lot. Just kind of his growth and what they do with him. Wide receivers kind of feels the same situation as running back in terms of I look at it, but there's a couple wide receivers, important ones, not practicing right now. So it just kind of feels like it's, filling time until maybe they get to minicamp and maybe they ramp Jordan Tyson up or Olave does more. So a lot of eyes for me are on defense right now and kind of how they're going to figure that out with some key guys gone.
What defensive position battles do you think we're looking at, or roster battles are we looking at when we get to camp?
I think the one that's going to be talked about most is the star position with Alontae Taylor gone and right now Jonas Thanker taking snaps there. And we'll kind of see what happens with him and also with Julian Blackman at safety. I think we're still kind of waiting on Cam Jordan in terms of what they're going to do with the defensive end rotation. I wonder if Jordan does sign and when that happens, if he, kind of slots back into where he was last year, or if he's more of a, guy who rotates in and doesn't start. I don't know. I think that one's interesting, but the guy I'm looking at as a player who could have a huge season, and this isn't a surprise, is Chase Young. Maybe it's because I was just talking to Brandon Staley today, and he was just talking about how, one, he feels like Chase Young is a potential, leader in this room, and two, he kind of said, we've talked to him about the expectations for this year, and naturally they rise after the end of last year. He still had 10 sacks, even though he missed 5 games at the beginning of the season. And so it does make you wonder, can Chase Young take last season and kind of run with it and become the new star of this defense?
Yeah, we were looking at it a day ago. It is astonishing. We've talked so much about Cam Jordan's 10.5 sacks. You forget in just 12 games, missing the first 5, Chase Young had a double-digit sack season. Like, it's really exciting to think what he could be next year. You mentioned you talked to Staley. Did he say anything else of note?
Well, we talked to him a lot specifically about Thanker because people are so interested in that and, where he's grown and what they see out of him. And he said a lot of the reason they wanted to put him in the star position this year was because he has a specific type of speed that works for that position. He was saying, in that position, you can't have speed where you basically have to build it up. You have to have, I think he said, quick trigger speed. And he said Thanker really shows that. He also said, if you look at the last part of the season, the last 6 games, he said that was Thanker's best part of the season, which kind of coincides with probably a lot of people's best part of the season after, the Saints built up a lot of momentum at the end of the season. I think the big thing for him is, does he take that big leap forward in the second year? Because he said, he started out, really having a lot of success, and then he had to fight through a lot of things like a lot of rookies do. At the middle of the season and end of the season was where he really kind of started to evolve. And so, that's a guy I want to watch. And also, I already mentioned Blackman, but I want to watch him too after all the hype last year at training camp, and then he only got to play in 1 game.
It's crazy. I had 2 more things. One, everyone's asking about Jordan Tyson, but any other rookies standing out or getting any attention for any particular reason?
There haven't been a lot of rookie standouts yet. Honestly, I think a lot of them are hurt right now, which every Saints fan wants to hear. I don't think that necessarily means cause for alarm or anything. I think this particular medical staff just really likes to take things slowly with some of these injuries. So Tyson has been limited. Delp has been dealing with something. Miller has a hamstring issue. Just run down this list. I do wonder if they do try to ramp any of these guys up for the 2 days of mandatory minicamp next week, just because they're going to go on a big break after that. But yeah, it's kind of been a little quiet on the rookie front so far.
What about last thing, specialist, place kicker, return specialist, anything like that? Anything notable?
Tyson although he really didn't do much today, he was working as a returner a little bit. At least he was back there. So it's kind of funny to say a guy who really is not practicing that much would be in a returner role. But I think it was just more of them trying to figure out who they want back there. I believe that Charlie Smith went 6 for 6 today with his kicks. With fans, I feel like kind of fell in love with him last year. And so it'll be kind of interesting to see what kind of summer he has, because he kind of struggled in camp last summer. So he's got to have a lot of consistency. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes as I'm talking to you, trying to see what stood out.
Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those days where there wasn't a ton of standout things to talk about, which I think is probably good at this point. Better than talking about someone getting injured or anything like that.
No doubt. Mandatory minicamp next week. See how this offseason continues to progress. She is Kat Terrell, not to be confused with Kat Terrell. That's a different person altogether. At Kat_Terrell if you want to give her a follow, ESPN.com. Always appreciate it, Kat. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, Matt. Talk to you soon.
We'll see you. It's After Further Review. Brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens. ParishRestoration.com. 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 Fill out the form on the homepage. It'll get you that quote, that estimate, what it'll cost to dry fog your space. Home, office building, church, school, doctor's office. There's a lot of schools that keep Parish on a retainer, and they'll come like once or twice a year, and they'll come dry fog to sanitize the whole spot. Great opportunity to do that now while school's out. Kids aren't there. Fog the whole building before school starts in the fall. ParishRestoration.com. Call Jim Woodworth in the gang. They'll get you taken care of over at Parish Restoration. Kill odor as well. ParishRestoration.com. ParishRestoration.com. All right, thanks to Kat Terrell. Mike Girlando, the LSU New Orleans athletic director, was here last hour. Noah Fleshman talking some NC State, that whole Will Wade situation, hour one. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time, golf.breck.org. You can get all that. Podcast, YouTube, just search After Further Review. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. And I do want to dive into the anonymous assistant coach piece from Athlon. We'll do that as we continue. Stay with us here. It's AFR.
After Further Review.
Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We talk about Goodwood every single Wednesday, and quite honestly, every single day. And gents, I want to remind you, this is about how you feel. It's not about how old you are. It's about how you feel. And sometimes you don't know how bad you feel until you feel good again. Take the initiative and get in touch with Goodwood. Schedule a consultation so they can go take your blood labs and present a plan for you of how they can get you feeling better. Maybe you go do your blood draw and you realize your testosterone level is super low, and you can safely and affordably supplement to get to healthy levels again. Great waking energy, reduce brain fog, increase libido. Man, you could have more energy, more motivation to get in the gym. You can actually burn fat and build muscle. You can feel like you did when you were younger. YourGoodwood.com. Check them out online, YourGoodwood.com.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit YourGoodwood.com.
There were 34 head coaching changes in FBS in the FBS this offseason. Of course, most notably among them is Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss for LSU because all of the circumstances that surrounded that departure. One of the things I like doing every offseason is the Athlon Anonymous Coaches piece. We talk about it here every year if you're familiar with the show, where Athlon gives coaches anonymity to speak about other coaches and teams in their conference. And so you get some really honest answers, which you don't get as a name, like who is saying those things, but you just have to trust that Athlon is actually speaking to people who they say they are, to these coaches, and it gives you some idea of what people and their peers think of these coaches. Well, they did the same thing here with assistant coaches. They gave assistant coaches the opportunity to speak under the condition of anonymity about new head coaches in the league, and in their league, I should say. So naturally, there was going to be a lot to say about Lane Kiffin, and it was controversial. There's the new proposed Lane Kiffin rule as part of the Protect College Sports Act and all that stuff. Well, the quote they quoted one assistant on LSU and hiring Lane Kiffin, and I'll read it to you. Any offense that Lane Kiffin has had, they've been unique. They've been multiple. They've been unconventional. Schematically, with Charlie Weiss Jr., I think they're going to make people play 11-on-11 football. I could see them easily getting back to doing what LSU does. It's going to be a 4-quarter game against those guys every time you play them with the tempo and the athletes they always have. So, interesting, it's skewed offense there, talking about Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss, and I really think that's the expectation for LSU. It was interesting hearing Lane Kiffin during spring say, and I understand that after the first scrimmage of spring when the offense was not very good, we had to watch it committed. They threw 5 interceptions and lost a fumble in their 10 possessions. There was 5 interceptions, lost a fumble, missed a field goal. And Lane said afterwards it was discouraging, and if they had to play now, they would be a defensive team. And I don't think that's altogether impossible to assume that LSU could be a defensive team if Blake Baker's unit really paces this team, and maybe they do lean more heavily on the defensive side of the ball, run the ball, go a little slower, try to shorten the game. That's not what Lane Kiffin wants to do and wants to be. And you have an assistant there saying, look, they've always been multiple and creative, and they make you play 11-on-11, and they're going to score. And by and large, I think they will. But I'm going to continue to go back to the fact that I think whatever LSU is offensively, it's got to be because Sam Leavitt gets them there. And it's a talking point that will reiterate a lot throughout this offseason. But I just saw enough in spring from the other two to think those guys have when I'm talking about Landon Clark and Husan Longstreet, that they have really intriguing skill sets. And I think in time have the potential to be very good major college football players. I just don't think that time is now. And I also don't think that's some wild and crazy idea. I mean, Landon Clark played a season at Elon, and Husan Longstreet took a red shirt at Southern Cal. So to think those guys would step right into the Southeastern Conference with such little experience in major college football, and with Landon Clark, no experience in major college football, and think they're just going to fly, I think that's just unrealistic. And the comp about Trinidad Chambliss, I know people always say that, but remember, man, Chambliss was a multi-year starter and won the Division II national championship. I mean, he accounted for more than 50 touchdowns. He had played a ton. I get it at a different level, but he had played and achieved a ton. It's different when you're talking about these two guys who haven't played. So I'll continue to say it, man. Whatever they are, it's going to be because Leavitt is healthy and gets them to where they want to go. They also, an anonymous coach also talked about Pete Golding and said, in those 3 games that he coached last year, Pete Golding was Pete Golding. He was himself. He naturally transitioned into his role, was staying the same dude. That's going to be the challenge. Can he continue to rely on the things that have made him a big-time ball coach? Or is he going to try to be the anti-Lane Kiffin? A lot of people in Oxford want him to be the anti-Lane, but he just needs to be Pete Golding. I think that remains to be seen because I don't think we know what Pete Golding is as a head coach. I mean, he had 3 games, and he had 3 games inheriting a team that was an 11-1 football team that someone else recruited and coached to that point. Now, credit Pete Golding. I don't think you get a lot of credit for beating Tulane, but credit Pete Golding for beating Georgia. And then they went toe-to-toe with Miami and darn near won that football game. and would have played for a national championship. I don't think they would have beaten Indiana. I don't think anybody was going to beat Indiana this year. But we've given so many examples of this throughout the offseason, and there's tons of examples throughout history of programs where a coach inherits a really good situation, then has early success because of the stability built by the previous staff, and then it erodes. If you even just want to look at LSU, go look at Smoke Laval. Smoke Laval took over for Skip Bertman. They went to the Supers in 2002, back-to-back seasons at Omaha where they were 2 and done, and then it was just this erosion afterwards. They were missing the postseason by the end of his tenure. I mentioned Larry Coker. Inherited a great roster from Butch Davis at Miami, won the championship in 2001, played for a championship in 2002 when they lost to Ohio State in overtime, and then the erosion began the rest of Larry Coker's time there in Miami. He wasn't able to sustain what Butch Davis had built. So I think that's going to be the real question, the challenge for Pete Golding there at Ole Miss. And my point on it, man, like, I need the runts to be a runt. Like, every league has their really tough teams. They're always good, challenging stadiums to play in, and you got your bottom feeders. And you need bottom feeders because you need a schedule where, like, you're going to get a little bit of a breather when you play that game. Like, I don't need Vanderbilt being 10-2. I need Vanderbilt being Vanderbilt. I don't need Ole Miss winning 50 games over 5 seasons. I need Matt Luke Ole Miss. I need Ed Ogeron Ole Miss. That's what I need Ole Miss to be, not what Ole Miss became under Lane Kiffin. So my hope, sincerely, is that thing erodes under Pete Golding and just falls back to being what Ole Miss has been for 60 years. Just a little school from Mississippi that doesn't really win a lot. So that's my hope. I hope Alex Golesh fails at Auburn. I hope John Summerall fails at Florida. I hope they all stink. I mean, I want to see LSU win championships. And so I want to see these coaches muck up these programs and stink. It's a hard enough row to hoe in the SEC. So get our answers soon enough. Interesting to get these perspectives, though, anonymously from some of these assistants on new coaches coming into the league. Hey, we're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com for Arco Power Systems, industrial generator power. That's what we talk about with Arco every single day. Y'all, storm season's here. Hurricane season started 10 days ago. June 1st is the start of hurricane season, and it's an inevitability. We never want a storm, but we know living here, it is an inevitability. Eventually, we are going to get a storm. And hopefully it's not a big, disruptive, damaging hurricane, but we're going to get high winds and heavy rains and sometimes things that knock out power. Well, what happens to your business when the power goes out? Arco Power Systems, that's where they come in. But you want to be proactive. So call Arco today or go to arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com. Any type of business, grocery stores, gas stations, banks, hospitals, schools, industrial facilities, you name it. If the power goes out, you need your business to stay online, you need Arco. They can sell, service, install, rent an industrial generator. Just call for that quote and start that process today at arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. All right, y'all, one thing left to do. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks. Find out what Jimmy's got. Of course, Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Jimmy has not had a lot of success so far betting these NBA Finals. Part of me thinks maybe we should fade the Otter. If he zigs, we zag. But then again, this might be the one that he actually nails it, so maybe just stay the course. We'll see. So when I got our final break of the show, Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks to wrap it up when we come back next on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
AFR.
I have told you for years my experience using Darren James. Listen to Jacques Juge, who recently sold his home with Darren James.
So I had my house up for sale by owner for about a month. I listed it with a realtor, going on roughly a year, and I decided to give Darren a call. He told me he would run analysis and give me some feedback by the end of the night, which was a Friday night. I just told him, no hurry, just wait till next week. Don't take time away from his family. But before the end of the night, I had a text message from Darren with a 15-minute video explaining everything that he's seen on my property and what way he could go about with selling the home. So I got rid of the realtor I had, got Darren. Man, within a month, we had an offer on the table, and we just closed last Thursday.
Don't waste time. You need to sell your home. You need results. You need Darren James. Agent225.com. Agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
We're brought to you by River Parish Contractors, where they are hiring. They need pipe tackers. They need welders big time. If you are looking for work, maybe even if you're not looking for work, but you're open to a better opportunity, you need to get in touch with Big Jake at River Parish Contractors. I'm going to give you Big Jake's cell phone number in just a second. But remember, no rainouts, as much overtime as you want to work, full benefits, 401k, insurance, paid time off, and you're a young welder. You can tack. You got the ability to practice welding on breaks. Very good place to sharpen your welding abilities. It's River Parish Contractors. If you're interested, you want to learn more, remember, you're home with your family for dinner every night. Call Big Jake at 318-547-1000. 318-547-1000. 318-547-1000. Call Big Jake today over at River Parish Contractors.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Hump Day edition of AFR. We always appreciate the great team over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. One thing left to do is find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
Well, after the collar last night, going 0 for 4, we had to. What's the team we've ridden for the most? We love sweeps. They played in a matinee today. What's the team we bet the most in Major League Baseball?
Nationals.
The over, and that's 10-7 in the 8th. Ding, ding. And then the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I did give them up publicly. I'm trying to see the ball go through a hoop. Okay,
I hear you.
I'm trying to get in rhythm.
I hear you. No, we had a great night a couple nights ago. Last night was not good, but it's all good.
No. But we are bouncing back. Knicks have had more assists than their opponent in 12 of the 14 games in this 13-game winning streak, and the one Monday night where they lost. The other one was that game 1 when they were down 22 with 40 minutes into the game with 8 minutes to go against the Cleveland Cavaliers in game 1. They didn't move the ball around. They didn't move it. They got a little bit old school, with Brunson, a little bit too ball dominant. Listen, there was a lot of distractions going on. It was a circus. It was a coronation. Yeah. I'm feeling more of a business-like theme tonight for the Knicks. So we're going to take the Knicks minus the points. The Spurs had 10 more assists than them. Turnovers also. That's the first time in 14 games that the Knicks had more turnovers than their opponent. I'm looking to get them more focused tonight and take care of business. We'd like the Knicks to take a 3-1 lead.
Okay.
Minus the 2.5. Baseball. Right. Luzardo against Scherzer. By the way, 2 of the games we lost were in the 9th inning. We moved 9th inning leads. Scherzer's going to Hall of Fame. He's going to Cooperstown. Not for what he's doing in 2026. Okay, we're fading him. Philly a minus 130. Is it right now?
130. Oh, I just had it. Sorry. Yeah, it's minus. Philly is minus 136.
Okay, Minnesota and Detroit. Detroit is playing better ball as of late. Framber Valdez is a decent pitcher, but his numbers are no better than his opponent today. This line is way too high. We're going to take the Twins plus 45, 46.
It's up to $1.75 in game. Bottom first, no score.
Okay. Do they have any runners on?
Nope.
Oh, bombs away. That's a moron. Let's go. More on it. And then the Dodgers, Ohtani, minus 1.5 runs on the road. How'd that Pirates bullpen? Can't say I didn't warn you. So anyway,
no doubt.
2 at the end of 6. Go to stretch time. It's 12-2. Anyway, Ohtani,
brutal.
Under 1 ERA. That's 11 starts now. I mean, it's getting a little ridiculous. We're going to take the Dodgers minus 1.5. I believe that has started already as well.
All right, so we got the Knicks on the hardwood, laying the 2.5. Then Phillies, Twins, and Dodgers. All right, Otto, where are you tomorrow?
We're at Dick's House of Sports in the Mall of Louisiana. We're celebrating all their gear for the World Cup that they have available. So it should be fun.
Go USA.
Go USA, baby. Let's go. They're healthy. They're healthy. We beat Trinidad and Tobago. We're on a roll, baby.
Let's go. All right, Otto. Thank you.
See ya.
Good luck. We'll see you. It's after further review. Hey, remember, we're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Before we get out of here, locations all across Louisiana, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. One of the great things about Lee Michaels is they're approachable. You get the Lee Michaels experience at affordable prices for everyone, no matter your budget. Listen, they love to focus on service. Don't be nervous. It's a personal experience. You want to come in and try on 1,000 different rings? Do it. They're never going to pressure you into buying anything. You want to learn about something, not feel pressured to buy today? Great, do it. They have more industry-educated associates throughout the state than any other jeweler. So, you want the best? You want Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it is after further review. Wrapping up the show here. Game 3 of the NBA Finals is tonight. We'll see if Mike Brown gets scared by a ghost in the postgame tonight. You think he's just scared of Wemby? He's talking about Wemby. You grabbed the mic. I thought you were going to say, well, then don't grab the mic. I was waiting for you to talk. Okay, we'll just leave now. It's after further review. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, expanding health care across the FMOL health system all across Louisiana and Mississippi. And what I love about Our Lady of the Lake is you're talking about world-class care right here at home. Heart health, cancer, pediatrics, stroke, and everyday care with your primary care physician. I've told you before, my doctor is Dr. Curtis Chastain at the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. And I could not recommend him highly enough. But for whatever it is, we take Drew and he sees multiple specialists at the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Our Lady of the Lake is here, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Learn more at OLOLRMC.com/LSU.